I kind of want to open it up for a little bit of a dialogue, though. Maybe give some examples of what each of you have experienced with dealing with local municipalities. Give maybe your story on if it's a positive or a negative, just to kind of, I know we have a few people here, and I know we have people streaming online, but I want to get a different perspective from each of you if you have a current project that you're working on or one that you have, and what it was like working with a local city government. So I'll lead it off with you. You can go first. I'm going to sit down now, if that's okay.
Sure. I'm currently representing a client who wants to build a large children's play area in Temecula. And we've already met with the landlord. Things are going according, and the client claims that he has already met with the planning department, has gotten a lot of positive feedback. The first thing that we would look at is basically where is the project going to go? What's the proper zoning? That's just kind of the basics. Is the parking going to be excessive? So try and look for some of the things that are going to create an immediate red flag for the city. Try and look for things that might create problems with the other tenants in the shopping center that you're moving into. Try and make sure that things like if you're going to serve alcohol, that may run afoul of some other businesses that are right next to it. So you have to look for these things in advance before you're locating a particular site. That's kind of, I wouldn't call myself a planning lawyer, but I do get involved in the occasional planning dispute. Usually it's because the city has said no to a particular party, and then the party wants me to file suit against the city. Usually I'll look at the issues involved, and nine times out of 10, there's no merit to the case. So
Right.
that's what happens when lawyers get involved, is they're trying to find that angle of attack to see if they can push a project through.
So most of my projects up until the last couple of years have been a little smaller, 1 to 4 units, and even with those, it was like pulling teeth with the city to get any of my permits through the gates. And granted, I understand it's San Diego, it's a bigger city, and most of my projects are in the actual city of San Diego, not some of the incorporated outlying areas. But the staff is severely overworked and underpaid, and you're just a number in a line, and it doesn't matter how many people you know. Granted, I know there's some ways to get some deals pushed through the gates, but for a normal investor like me, I have a couple buddies in the planning department, but I mean, that's it. It's nothing where I can get these things through the gate. So that's been kind of tough. I got a couple bigger apartment building development projects right now, and we are again running into some issues and just some very disorganized stuff. Like, for instance, a right-of-way issue that I spent 3 hours with the records department this morning actually trying to figure out, and no one could still get me an answer, and we have to like revisit this again, and it just holds up the project. And I'm looking to add housing stock to mid-city, which is actually hard to do. I've got a really cool lot in Hillcrest area, and so I've run into a lot of struggles with this. Now I will say, because San Diego now has such a housing shortage problem, that they are now starting to loosen requirements. Density issues have gotten a lot better. Zoning has changed, and it's actually created a lot of opportunity for those of us who can see zoning changes happening and get in front of it and know what kind of parcels to buy that now have more favorable zoning. So it's all a game when it comes to knowing these things as a language. Zoning is a language, and we found some opportunity there, but in regards to actually with the city, it's always been a nightmare for us. And I wish there was an easier way and like an actual outlet or a voice, or just like, and maybe there is and I just haven't been able to do it yet. I've had to go to city council for one project, and it was just, it didn't turn out very well, but I just wish there was a better medium for me to make conversation and get answers.
Thank you. So everything I heard so far is dead on. I mean, working with the local government is sometimes challenging. We have been fortunate. The city council, the city staff, they've been very helpful. As a matter of fact, they've reached out, and we've already had a few meetings, and they even had suggestions of what to do. One particular councilman suggested that maybe we allow 1 or maybe 2 bus stops in our community in the project to allow the routes, and I believe that councilman is on the Riverside Transportation agency. So I know that they're thinking, they're forward thinkers. They do have a master plan, so we have to make sure that we don't deviate from what their plan is and to make the city worse. So our challenges were in the beginning that it was a higher density and we weren't going to be able to do it, but we luckily were able to purchase the property next door. We doubled up the size and not increase the amount of apartments that we wanted to build there. So they were very happy with that. My drive for this whole project is not necessarily, building, selling, and moving on, but to continually work with the community. So some of the requests that they're interested in is in line with what my programs are for the community. So as long as I think we're working with them to make sure that we meet the guidelines, we don't try to circumvent or cut corners, I think we'll be very successful. I have worked in the past with the economic development in Los Angeles, and I know how sometimes people just don't want to talk to you and they have their set one, but thank you so much for a lot of insight came from your presentation. Gina, thank you. So I would love to get a copy of the presentation and maybe go over it a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping by the end of the year that we break ground and move forward. So our plans are changed up and we're making it to where it's a little bit more friendlier with the staff, the planning, the building, and everybody else that comes with it, in addition to the city council.
Excellent, excellent.
I want to chime in one actual thing. I think it'll add value. First off, I want to say elected officials, that's a thankless job, and you guys really do it for the benefit of the community. And I forgot to mention that earlier because when you were speaking up there, I'm like, man, would I ever want to do this? And I think the answer is no. And I feel like that a lot of people probably say that, and so we're grateful for those that actually believe and actually have everyone's best interest at heart. So it sounds like you actually really want it and have this passion for it, which is good. And then just one other thing with the municipalities and the local governments, it would be so much easier, and it's easier for me to sit on a pedestal as a real estate investor and developer and say, hey, loosen the regulations and lower the development impact fees and get rid of all these taxes and stuff. And I get it, right? That's how a lot of the income is made. A lot of the money is made to build infrastructure in the city. I would love to find some sort of happy medium though, to where it's like, all right, we take the handcuffs off a little bit and let's make it a little easier to build housing because we need it so bad, but not necessarily do it for free. And I know the city needs to make money on this, but I would love there to be a little bit better negotiation.